Hello, hello, mystical, magical, amazing, beautiful beings. Allure Mystique. I hope that it's been quite a while, right? I hope that you can hear me well. Those are the sounds of the ocean waves and the birds and just everything out in nature at the beach, which is where I am. So I'm sitting here and I'm reflecting, I'm meditating, I'm working. And work is, I haven't quite figured out the best word to use outside of that, but yes, doing some work. So this was an unplanned trip actually for something I was led to do this week, just with the energy that is upon us and just the shift and everything. And it was like, okay, so it's more about being in alignment, even though we use the term work because there's actionable things that I am doing, but ultimately it comes back down to alignment and purpose. And so that's why work doesn't necessarily fit, right? But one of the reasons I'm doing that is specifically this, because of sitting with some of the messages that's been coming in for quite some time now. I've shared them in more private sectors and like with clients. I hadn't been led to do much on social media as of yet. And while I was just sitting here, and I don't know, how often I'll be posting over these next, weeks, months, whatever, just because there's so much happening shift-wise. And so, again, everyone here, mostly that I'm aware of, is in the magical, right, independent, spiritual community. And if not, hello, welcome. And so with that, I say that because many in that sector has heard, whether it was from me or others, talking about the changing of the guard, age of the Aquarius, the shift that we're in, and it's all here. It's all upon us. It has been. Things have been shifting for some time, as we can look back and see, even if you go back to 2020, right, with the pandemic and different things, to now we can see that very clearly. However, while things do continue to shift, the reality of it is we are within the new age. We are within the new era. And so being within the new age, being within the new era, there is this period in time of cleanup, of transmutation, in order to move forward in evolution and in expansion, which is not optional. It's never quite been optional, because that's the way of the nature of the universe, right, and of the primordial. However, there's been, underneath that old regime, there were things that happened which really didn't push the planet, humanity, forward in the trajectory that initially it was planned to, or slated to, or the track, I guess, that we've been on in order to be in alignment with the rest of the universe or multiverse that's unfolding and expanding. And so we're in crunch time. It's like it's now, because of that, we're getting hit hard and heavy with. So we were getting hit hard and heavy was the last thing I was saying. And so I'm going to say, let me just interject here. Be mindful and just bear with me, guys, as if it cuts out and come back in, or loopy and things like that. Because again, I'm sitting on the beach, right? So reception, people walking by, things are happening, noise. And so just be that. But the reason I'm doing it here is because, one, I can do it while I'm led. And two, I'm going to, just for the energy. There's just a beautiful energy that even as I'm sharing what I am, that if you can take in and absorb from the ocean sound, from the waves, from the beach, and I may loop something in at the end. Actually, we'll see. But what I was saying, so it's a lot of chaos right now, or in which looks like confusion, but it's very orderly and purposeful. Okay, as above, so below. The way it shows up here it, and depending on where you are in your journey, is kind of will show how you respond to that. We have a lot of death, destruction, deconstruction, right? Just so many things that's happening right now, and none of this is negative. None of it is negative, and so a big part that has been happening over these last few months is the avoidance of those things that seem or feel heavy, which heaviness not. So with, heaviness not being a negative thing at all, that actually, little tip, if you really look at energy, a way that you can measure, so to speak, air quote, energy is by the weight of it, the heaviness of it. And oftentimes the heaviness of things actually are indicative of the ancientness of it, the even the dark energy of it. And so a lot of energies or entities that we work with who are very ancient, primordial, even dark, can feel very heavy, right? And so again, it's not a negative thing at all. And when I say avoidance, I don't want to imply that nobody's doing their work or that you guys aren't doing your work. But what's been coming up is that it's like it's been enough work to make it, okay? Enough work to connect to certain principles of the universe, enough work to manifest, so to speak. But it's not the you going into the deep. And when I say the deep, your depth, your deep, your darkness. Plenty right now are at the surface. And while it may feel like you've done so much work, and you have, right? And it was hard, and most of us have had a lot of experiences as being embodied with trauma, abuse, oppression, just all these different things, right? And so when you've been working through that and navigating through, it's like you've done the work. But the thing about that is that's very 3D work, and that work was to be done to then take you into the deeper aspects of yourself as you rediscover your soul, like your purpose cosmically. And I'm talking to those who are starseeds, okay, and above, because the reality of it is, we hear this quote about, we're having a human experience and all these different things. But the thing about it is, starseeds are not here, was never sent here to just have a human experience. Starseeds were purposefully commissioned to be upon the planet to evolve it, to assist with moving it forward, to help bring the inhabitants, the humans, back into alignment and to transcend the human experience. When you transcend the human experience, that's how you rise into your divinity. Just getting information and knowing, I'm an embodiment of this, or an avatar of that, or an incarnation of this, that's not actually you being within your divinity. Most of the things that we're seeing, whether it's readings and rituals and just so many things out there now in the community, are touching aspects of spirituality and energy, and some of it is even touching divinity, but it's actually not within it. It's not maintaining it. It's not wielding it. It's not embodying it. It's not bringing it into this realm, into this dimension, as starseeds were sent here or purposed here to do. And so that's the thing. It's starseeds, again, transcend the human experience, and transcendence is on some other shit, right? So, I say this because of this. Where we are right now and in this shift, it just isn't optional. Everything that was done before was like a breeding ground, setting a stage, and it's great. You could have come so far. We came so far, but it's time to continue to level the fuck up. It doesn't stop. Evolution does not stop. Energy is not stagnant. Expansion does not stop. So it doesn't matter. You could have been to air quote hell, right, and back. And I'm a fan of hell, so that's what I'm saying, okay? In order to get to where you are or was 6 months ago, 3 months ago, and now it's time to continue to move forward. Because many are operating within a purpose that you've identified in connection to your humanity, okay, which is very different than your cosmic starseed soul, those who are, divine, and those who are royal purpose, not the same. Not the same. And for those who, myself included, right, who do like products and Reiki, readings, just all these different things, that's not the end all be all. If you are divine and you are royal and that's where you have rested, I can guarantee you're not operating within your cosmic purpose. There's no one here that is divine and royal who that's all they were sent here to do, in alignment with who they are. Those things are, one, body technologies. So those who are not starseeds, those who are actually children of the planet, right, have all the access to do readings and tap in and connect and all that as well. So that's just basic body technology, okay? Being able to connect to universal principles and all of that jazz. So, and for most of us and those who are also starseeds and divine and royal, etc., there's abilities and things that we have. They're not even gifts. They're just a part of who you are, right? Again, part of who everyone is. It's there to assist us in our process. So like for myself, for example, products are not the end all be all. They're very time consuming. I love it. I love connecting with every energy, building that, the way I bring it to people and what it does and can serve. And while it's very purposeful, that's not it. If I stopped there, I still would not be operating within my total cosmic purpose, because again, that's a tool. That was a part of me, again, connecting deeper to energy, connecting deeper even to myself, and as well as providing a means or a way, because currency is a real thing, right? In order to assist me as I do the work. The reality is, if you're doing more work in front of the camera, so to speak, more work that's seen than the work that's unseen, and I'm not even talking about your personal transformational work right now, I'm talking about your cosmic work, you still have a lot of growth to go. There's still a lot to do. Those who are here, who are starseeds, divine, and definitely those who are royal, there is way more work that you are commissioned and purposed to do behind the scenes that you will never be able to say, that no one will ever know or acknowledge, than what's being done in the light, okay? The shift does not happen. The process of the shift is within the darkness. Catch that. The process of the shift happens within the darkness and it's birthed into the light. And that's where a lot are missing the mark. And so with that, there's a lot of misalignment. And it's been masquerading. The things have been masquerading as purpose. And some of this is actually very intentional of the old regime, to be honest. But, and again, or feeling that because of all we've, endured and experienced, that you've done this work and now you can stop and rest. And it just doesn't work that way. So I say that to say, because it's so imperative, it's so important for those of you who are on this channel and who know me, you can feel the intensity. Even if you just take a moment and feel the words that's not even said, okay? Because there's some shit that just is not to be said. You just have to know it and connect to it within your soul. If everything is still about the 3D part, there's a lot of work still to do. A lot. And so the reason I'm doing this message, though, is because the Anunnaki, okay, is the age. That is the rulership that we are in. And even for those who are not Anunnakian, you still have a role to play, because this is the umbrella, so to speak, that we are under. And that's just what that is, okay? And so we're sitting with them, we're talking to them, and sitting here at the beach and just taking it all in. They're showing me, and I'm getting the things that, is shifting, that's happening, that's necessary, that's needed, and where there's this gap that has to be filled. And that gap was supposed to be being filled by those starseeds who are here on this planet, and it hasn't been being done, okay? Because so many starseeds have just fallen into the human condition, the experience, and resting on the magic, the witchcraft, the techniques, the tools, the gifts, the showmanship, and not doing the deeper work. And so when I did a product a while ago. It was called Shadow. I had so many products. I think it was Shadow Love. And a part of that was really to assist. I did it specifically around a potential portal. There's a video here on my channel that energy is still very active, very high. That would be a very beneficial one to connect to for those who are seeking to continue to truly rise, to transcend the human experience, to truly be within your cosmic elevated purpose and energy. For those, but I want to say this, it ain't optional. So at this point, the theme, okay, of this era, or the energy of this era that we're in, is purpose overall. Cosmic purpose. And I want to illustrate that because somewhere in there's been a disconnect between what we've been doing 3D. So take myself as an example. I do counseling and coaching and energy work and everything, which is beautiful and amazing. It's passionate of mine. It's definitely connected to my purpose. And all the years that I've been within this field, which has been plenty of years, if I would have just stopped there, though, I still would have missed a huge component of my elevated cosmic purpose from a soul level, just because that was also purposeful. Those were tools, those were steps in my journey to continue to ascend and evolve me to where I am and where I continue to grow and go. But it doesn't stop, right? And so I want to so that's the thing. It's right now, it's all about being in alignment. And so I was talking to a client and I was explaining to them what that looks like as far as an alignment. And so one of the things I do want to say, and it's an analogy that I was utilized, and I'm going to share it here because it's not about being perfect, air quote, right? And so sometimes I think people don't understand that being in alignment with your purpose and on the journey and what that looks like when there's bumps in the road. So here's the thing. If you know how we use, pretty much everyone uses like GPS, right? You could put in a destination. So let's in this case say your destination is your purpose or whatever, right? You put in a destination, you can make turns that's off the path, left turns here. It constantly reroutes you, right? You can kind of reroute back and get into alignment back on that path. But you can make so many air quote wrong turns or left turns and things of that nature that there is no more reroute. You have to start back from the beginning. You have to begin the whole journey and process over. And that's the difference. You will have detours as you go through the process. And grace is extended through the process. But you must be in alignment with the journey and the process with your purpose as the destination. Your cosmic elevated purpose as the goal. That's it. When you make all the rears off of it and then you get to that space where it's like now you have to start the fuck over, what happens is a lot of people just don't want to start over. They're like, I've done all this work. They want to rest there. And I get it. It's hard. You know what I mean? That shit is hard. But at the same time, if we own our shit that we've gotten back to the beginning because of choices that we made, then there isn't anything hard about it necessarily as far as making the choice to do that shit over. You know what I'm saying? To do it in alignment, to course correct yourself. And the thing is to stay steady with the course, to stay in that process, stay within that course. This does not mean you can't give yourself any type of grace. I'm not talking about that. But there is a big thing happening right now where so many have just been so far off the beaten path and they're not on course and all these turns and now they're not course correcting. Okay? And so that's important. It's so important, y'all. And I can't stress it enough. So I feel like I'm getting repetitive, so I'm not going to do that. But I just wanted to drop that piece. If there's anything that I can say to you just as a nugget over these next few weeks, next few months, as we continue to endure, and see the shift, because I think most of you guys, I'm sure, are pretty familiar with what's happening right now and can see a lot. And I'm talking about what's happening as far as the chaos that we're seeing show up in the world, the way it looks 3D wise. But if you have that elevated cosmic, spiritual, energetic perspective, it's within purpose, right? There's a reason, a rhyme and a reason. Shit doesn't happen, okay? And shit doesn't just happen to you. It doesn't. Not when you're sovereign and not when you're divine. And so, and there is a difference. I talked about this in other videos between sovereignty and divinity. Please go back and catch that, because there's plenty who are on a sovereign path, which a sovereign path is a part. It can be a part of divinity, but the sovereignty is not necessarily the same as actually being within your divinity, being within that vibration and frequency, maintaining it and wielding it in alignment with purpose. They're connected and can be, but they're very much different. Okay. So that's my message. Regarding just a brief check-in of what's going on with other things, my store is on vacation mode right now with Etsy, just because I, like I said, doing some purposeful things that had me doing some traveling and just certain things that I wasn't able to, and I didn't want to have any issues with orders, as integrity and customer service is very important for me. So that'll probably be off within the next couple of weeks, 30 days or so. I am going to be revamping some stuff though, because there's a lot of things I have going on this summer, again, in alignment with, my purpose. So it may not be everything back available right now, but we'll see. I'm still working that out. A couple products that I do know, one in particular that I launched right before I put it on vacation mode, and a few people copped it. I didn't even publicize it, and I was like, that's fine, whoever it's for will find it and see it. Was I do have an Anunnaki product, and I was specifically commissioned to do that, working with that family. It's a great product, even if you're not Anunnakian, as I said, because that is the governorship, that is the rulership that we are in for this age. It's a very awakening, a very aligning, and very enlightening product. It ain't love and light, okay? So it depends on where you are, because with awakening, alignment, and enlightenment, there is some things, right, that can happen with that, as a part of that process, with being transformational, with being transcendent. And so it can be heavy, again, but it's an amazing product. So I definitely know that one will be back soon, even if nothing else. And then the things that I continue to feel led to put up in alignment with the shift while I'm in the midst of this process. So that's what's going on with that. My energy services are on hold right now, just due to everything, but I'll let you guys know when they're back. I've pretty much just been working with previous clients, current, that I had. If I do receive any referrals, I do follow up on those. But as far as taking on, the way I was before, that is also, I know I've had some inquiries about that. So I just wanted to drop that nugget here too. But ultimately, y'all, I just wanted to say, because I don't know, how else to really emphasize. And so, y'all know I'm not repetitive. I'm pretty much hit it, quit it, get out, drop the message. And so for me to be reiterating a lot is showing the severity, the importance of where we are. And remember that everything has consequence and cause and effect, y'all. Everything. That's not a punishment. That just is. Not being within your purpose, not being aligned with your purpose, the consequences and the cause and effects of that is highly severe and intense due to the shift of where we are. That old energy is no more. It will not be any longer. It is and has been repurposed. It is being repurposed. So it's being aligned. The only way to not be within that energy is to be in alignment with who you are cosmically, astrally, in the ethers, soul-wise. Not with who you embodied only, just that humanity part. And it's not about, humanity is not lesser than. I've said that so many times. Humanity is younger than most of you, most of us, starseeds, right? And I say most because starseeds are being created and born every day, okay? However, due to that, ultimately, there's just still a lot of evolve just for where they are. but they're not lesser than. The planet's not lesser than. I was never a Bible thumper, and even when I was like identifying as Christian, I was never deep into Christianity. As far as like, I took what I took, needed what I needed, got what I got from it, so to speak, or what I felt was resonating for me at that time. But I remember there's a scripture or something, I don't know if it's a scripture or I don't know, that talked about like the earth and the heavens being anew, right? That's where we are, okay? And this is not a message of doomsday to try to scare anyone, end of the world. It's not about that. But at the same time, it is, because we're in a new era, a new age. So this is a new beginning. There is a new earth, so to speak, right? And for the only way to not just survive it, not just make it, but to actually thrive within it, to be within the shift versus caught up, just kind of in it, like something's happening to you, is to be in alignment with who you are, your purpose, divinity, and everything along that lines, right? So I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know yet if I'm gonna come back and loop it in here or if I'll do another one. So I'll make a last minute update to that as well. But I do feel like I'll probably do some energy, something at this time. So if this is posted and you don't see an energy work at the end, then you know another one will be coming. And if not, then just know that it'll be a transition where it'll kind of pause and go into the energy loop. But that's primarily what I wanted to share. And for those of you who are working with like deities and different energies, if you haven't noticed, okay, the shift in those energies is again because everything, deities included, evolve and shift. Another reason, and I know for a lot, because I've had inquiries from some about energies feeling different, the way energies are approaching them or not responding and different things, is again because they also evolve. Again, there is nothing, just nothing in existence, in formation, that is not called to evolve, to expand, as it's the nature of the multiverse and the primordial. So, I wanted to just say that, because that's been coming up a lot, and I forgot to say that earlier. So, yes, and that shows you where we are just in this shift, okay? That's all I have for today. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of the remaining time of the beach before it gets dark. Catch this beautiful sunset. Go do a few little more things for today and continue a few more things. That's funny. But anyway, but as always, and let me say, there's while I haven't been one of those people who post like every day, every week, there is some really good content on this channel, and the energy never stops and ceases. Tap in, y'all. Tap in, utilize it, go back through it, some of the videos, whatever's there, because many are now just at that space. And also, let me say this too, because it just came in, they just dropped it in like bam. Okay, plenty have reached divinity, meaning they touched it. And so what's happened is, it's been touched, okay? Divinity, like you touch the energy and you touch it and you feel divine and it feels amazing. And you see these changes happening in your life, and then that's it. But that's different than actually being constantly within that actual vibration, within that frequency, and maintaining it. Touching it is no longer sufficient, okay? If you are divine or you aren't. You are within purpose or you are not. You are aligned or you aren't. And all of that has consequences and cause and effects. Manifesting, even in itself, is not the end all be all. When you are divine, you create. You declare, you decree. There's a difference between those two. So there's a lot to still do. The work doesn't stop. The inner work doesn't stop. The inner growth, the transformation, it just doesn't stop. But it's beautiful. And I know, it's a lot. And as someone who is, like, counseling, coaching, like I said, most of you guys know, 2020, I went through a fire. I went through the unexpected transition of my mother, who was my best friend, partner, just ace, partner, just everything. And I get it, and that's just what happened in the last couple of years. My life hasn't been right. I didn't choose an embodiment that was silver spoon fed, right? So with that, and so I get it. I don't say anything because I don't get it, but I'm committed to the work. I'm committed to my purpose above all things, no matter what the fuck that looks like, no matter what the fuck that shifts. And I see it show up in my life every fucking day. Every day. It's not easy. Something being not easy doesn't necessarily make it hard though either. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not this or that. You get to a space where you realize it just is. It just is. And when you can get into that space and ride that fucking wave and maintain it and wield it, that's when you've not only reached divinity, that's not only when you, and transcendence, divine transcendence, or just touched it, that's when you are residing within it. You are said thing, okay? You are that vibration. You are that frequency. So I'm going to leave it there. So, I'll be back. I don't know when, but I will be back. I'm not going anywhere. I am within my purpose. So, and continuing to learn it, continuing to grow in it as well, because it continues to shift and change every day. And that's the thing. I can know something today and tomorrow it shifts. That's the nature. That is just the nature of the multiverse, and that's just where we are. But it's beautiful. All right, guys. So talk to you again another time. Bye. So I know I said the whole goodbye, but what I'm gonna do is I am gonna loop in just in here some ocean energy vibes, which is going to be very much connected to the Anunnaki energy and the product that I was saying that I have. But this is going to be in conjunction with, so it can be utilized by itself if for when you purchase the product, or if not, again, just to connect with and align with that energy. And then I'll do a specific one, probably more around the Easter time. That energy is what I'm kind of feeling led to for that renewal type rebirth energy that's going. We'll get to that. But yeah, so you'll hear a pause and a little loop-de-loop, right? And then it'll be just, again, ocean energy, noise, waves, sounds, and you can just kind of connect and absorb that in. So until next time, bye.